we're not staying at home anymore because we know we can get there safely.
Now, that's a great perspective. Wouldn't you say, Melissa?
That and get back safely, because sometimes I would not go to events because of having to drive back at night, and now it's like there's no excuse. If I don't wanna go to an event, I have to come up with a different reason.
Come up with a different excuse. You got to tell the truth.
Welcome to Tesla Boomers, a podcast where we take you through all the latest technologies from Tesla that will help you retire happier, healthier, and safer. I'm your host, Chris Derry. Today, I've convened a panel of boomers who own Tesla EVs and, as a result, believe they've received a new lease on life. Let's begin by introducing ourselves. Say, Pete, why don't you start?
Hey there, yeah. Pete Freiberger. I live in the Buffalo, New York area, and got into Tesla about 11 months ago, and I've really dug into it.
Cool. Melissa.
I'm Melissa, also from Buffalo, New York, and I've had my Model Y for almost a year and a half.
Wonderful. Ed, Sue.
You want to
You-
take
you-
that?
you-
Oh, I get to do this. Okay. So, my wife, Sue, I'm Ed. We live in Riverside, California. So, we're about halfway between the Pacific Ocean and Palm Springs, and an hour from the mountains and an hour from Disneyland. So, that kind of puts you a geographic location. Um, we are new Tesla owners. We've owned our car for about 2 months now. We have the new Model Y Launch Edition. Awesome car, by the way. And we love it.
Wonderful. So let's start with this. And Melissa, I'd like to start with you. What initially motivated you to buy a Tesla EV, and how has your experience evolved as you've grown older?
Okay. I bought my Tesla as a longevity play. I figured that as over time my peripheral vision declines, my night vision declines, my reaction time declines, having FSD would be something to kind of future-proof me, and better to learn the technology when I'm in my 60s and, God willing, in my 70s or 80s or 90s.
Let's hear it for 70s.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, and so having it has definitely kept my world from getting smaller, because I am able to do events any time of the day or night, and I tend to be kind of an anxious driver, and with FSD, the anxiety over time has just melted away.
Wonderful. Pete, what initially motivated you?
Well, I simply wanted to try a Tesla. About a little over a year ago, a service center opened here in the Buffalo area, and I went down for a test drive. I knew absolutely nothing about FSD. Totally messed it up on my first drive, but I was intrigued. So I went home and watched a few YouTube videos to figure out what I did wrong. And a week later, I was doing an overnight test drive, and I was planning on buying a car 3 or 4 months later, but I ended up getting it 3 or 4 hours later instead.
Ed and Sue.
We went to see our brother, the legend Joe Tegmeyer, in outside of San Antonio, Texas, for the solar eclipse. And he put us behind the wheel of his Cybertruck and his Model 3, and put us behind the self-driving and part of it. And we were totally impressed with the self-driving part of it. And we were sold on it, that part. And they told us about the Model Y coming out with the refreshed version of the Model Y. So we started checking it out and researching it. And then we decided to wait for the refreshed version of it. And we were hooked on it at that point.
Marvelous.
And along with what Melissa said, we found that our driving skills were diminishing a little bit after cataract surgery and all the other stuff that goes with the age thing. So in the fall, we went to Texas, got introduced to full self-driving, and the end of November, I suffered a stroke, and I wasn't sure my driving skills were gonna come back. And January, we put our order in, and glad we did because driving again and enjoying it and, having no complications. So,
I'll also add that one of my reasons was also environmental. I had solar panels put on my house in 2019 in anticipation of my next car being an EV. And so when my 2008 Subaru with 234,000 miles on it wasn't worth maintaining, it was time to go all EV.
So, Melissa, expand on that a little bit because you now have a whole package. And how does that help you as a boomer, as someone who's close to retirement? How does that, how will that help you in the future?
Well, one thing is a safety issue. I won't have to be going to gas stations where things can sometimes get sketchy.
Mhm.
And with the solar panels, I think that in the first 9 months of having the car, charging it at home, my electricity bill was actually negative $100.
that's awesome.
Yeah, huge.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. So, each one of you have talked a little bit about full self driving, FSD. So, how has that impacted your confidence while driving? And Ed, let's start with you because I think you've had the biggest challenge of all of us.
Well, I don't know if it's a big challenge because I got a great cheerleader here that drug me through this, but, yeah, I think having a full self-driving car has increased my awareness in driving. Before, I would tend to just follow the car in front of me, make some lane changes as needed, but I really wasn't aware of everything going on. When you're in full self-driving mode, that screen shows you a lot of information, and that information keeps your brain active, and I find myself getting stimulated mentally just by watching what the car is doing, and I feel more engaged in driving with full self-driving than I did by just manually doing it.
And that's a bit odd for someone who's never experienced FSD because they believe that you just turn it over to the car, right?
Well, as Sue said, we had the legend, Joe Tegmeyer, who coached us through the a couple of days of driving span, and yeah, and I know you know Joe, and he, attention to detail is something he's good at, so he made sure we understand all the little nuances and let us know it was gonna be like a tsunami hitting us, but that we could ride that wave pretty easy, so it was, we were excited about when we took our first test drive, we pulled out of the parking lot, and Sue called her buddy and said, "How do I engage full self-driving?" So we had it we within 30 feet of the service center, we were in full self-driving.
Well, one of the purposes of this podcast is to expose other boomers to what is really a miracle. It's a miracle that a car could drive itself, relieving us of the responsibility of driving. So, Pete, talk to us a little bit about how FSD has impacted your confidence.
Oh, it's changed a lot of things. I think when you hit your 70s, you don't even realize that you're avoiding doing things that you would have done when you were younger. And all of a sudden we're doing road trips again and day trips, and it doesn't matter if we get home after dark because it's so much easier on your eyes when you're only supervising instead of driving. So, it's really changed a lot of things for the better.
So, think about a specific experience where FSD has made a significant difference in your driving. Maybe a potential hazard or simplifying something that used to be complex. Pete?
Well, FSD saved us from a significant accident within 48 hours of having it, so it was pretty easy to bond. We were headed down to the theater, and we were in the center lane of a 3-lane highway, and all of a sudden, the car just absolutely jerked the wheel out of my hand and shoved us over in the left-hand lane. And before I could react, I could see a car moving into our lane from our right, that we were in that vehicle's blind spot. And I wouldn't have had time to react. And, you know, ironically, my wife was sitting there playing a video game and on her phone. What dumb thing did you just do? And I said, nothing. The car just did something really smart.
Wonderful. Melissa, how about an experience from you?
I believe that the car probably saved me from about 4 accidents so far. Again, someone being in a blind spot, once there was a pedestrian. So, as my brother will point out, the car has 8 eyes, we only have 2, so I like to think of it as, yeah, there are 10 eyes here, and, my 2 are just as important as the other 8 from the cameras.
So, a pedestrian
Yeah.
from your blind spot. Was this
I
on a
just
city street?
yeah, I just didn't see them starting to cross the street, and the car came to the stop. Yeah.
Sue, how about you?
Okay, we have to do a lot of freeway driving because we have a therapy dog and she does lots of visits. So we do a lot of freeway driving for her. And I've just noticed there's so many bad drivers on the road, and our car takes over and goes in and out really well in the lanes and gets us there safely. And I just like how she just turns on the blinkers and it goes between the lanes so effortlessly, and which is really a blessing for us because we don't have to worry about it. We're not jerked around, but it does freeway driving so well and gets us there so safely. And I just feel very confident when we go there that we're not worrying about the roads. And he takes over. Cars try to make us go faster, and he just stays away, and they will flip him off. And he doesn't care. Yeah, he doesn't react to it at all. And so we call him a he. And but it's really nice that he doesn't react to the bad drivers. And I just feel like we're getting there safely, and we're just more confident when we go because we have to go to other cities for her jobs. And we're just so much more confident on the freeways with being in the car.
Ed, can you cite a specific example where FSD has been a savior?
Well, it's an eye opener for sure. Kiki.
That's our therapy dog.
So we
Kiki, come.
a couple of weeks ago we were going to go to a ball game, so we go down midweek and buy tickets so we have a chance to pick them out at the box office. So I get on the freeway. We're driving down to the stadium. Going to take the toll road. 9 o'clock in the morning. It's usually packed. So I used the indicators to get onto the toll road. Car moved over into the toll road. Just before the toll road entrance, the car moved back over to the right. I said, no, I want to use the toll road. So I turned the blinker back on. The car went back over, immediately came back to the right. And by then I had missed the exit to the toll road. So I had to take the regular freeway, 31 miles in 30 minutes. So we did excellent time. There was no traffic. I think, well, why didn't it stay in the toll road? I don't understand that. Coming back, I just let the car do what it was going to do. Immediately got onto the toll road. We went about 5 miles. The regular traffic was gridlocked, and we just zoomed right on by. But it it knew that there was no traffic on the highway, so it saved me $17 going on a drive. So I've learned to just back off and let it do what it's going to do, and then try to interpret what happened. And that's I'm beginning to have a lot more respect for Tesla's engineering.
Well, I've heard this talked about a lot, but I've heard very few examples like the one that you just described. And that is that the Tesla software knows the right route for you to take.
Absolutely.
And how does it know that? Well, there are over 7 million Teslas that are driving all over the world. And Tesla is receiving all of the videos from the 8 or 9 cameras on all of those EVs and processing that. And it does it so quickly that it can help you identify the best route because other Teslas have already uploaded that information and delivered to you. Incredible.
Absolutely.
So, Melissa, can you think of a situation in which now you have a a RoboTaxi? No, I'm sorry. You have a cyber cab?
No, Model Y.
Model Y. Okay, Model Y. Can you tell us about a situation where your Model Y has made a better decision than potentially you would have made?
Um, as Ed was saying, I think sometimes knowing which direction to choose. Now, I haven't bought premium connectivity, and I guess if I would, the premium connectivity would show on the screen that there might have been, an incident in a particular lane that would say, "Oh, so that's why it's telling me to go the other day." But my big frustration is with regression. Because there have been times where it's executed and exit perfectly, and then all of a sudden one day the arrow shows that it's going to go to the right and it's about to make the left fork, and I have to correct it. And so that's why I don't feel confident yet driving the Tesla in another city, because if it, like in Ed's case, puts me on a road that don't want to be on, that would probably freak me out. So it still has a ways to go. And for the other example is that I'm on a Route 240. That's the main drive near my house. And for a long time, it would either change the speed to 20 miles an hour or 40 miles an hour reading the road sign, whereas the speed limit is actually 35. And so it fixed it for a while and then it regressed, and then it fixed it and then it regressed. So you just have to really be watchful about the fact that.
Is it perfect? No, not yet. That's why it's still supervised.
Yeah.
So, Pete, can you give us an example of how FSD has taken an action that you might not have taken on your own?
Well, as they were saying, it sometimes will pick different routes than I have used for years, and I would say, well, that's wrong. That's wrong. And then it proves me wrong. And when you first start out, you think you're smarter than the Tesla AI, and a few months later, you realize that you're not as smart as you thought you were. That it really is smart. That making better decisions than we do.
Can you give us an example?
Well, it totally changed the way I go to NFL games. We're season ticket holders, and we've been season ticket holders for 25 years. And I was certain I knew the best way. I was wrong.
So now Melissa just addressed this, but I think it deserves a wider conversation. That is, FSD is not perfect. And so there are challenges to it. And so identify for us what what you believe is a challenge, and then how are you responding to that challenge? Ed and Sue, could you start?
Well, you want to start with that one?
It doesn't go pull into our driveway yet, which is interesting. He hasn't learned how to do that yet, so we keep showing him how to
It's
do it.
done it once forward in, once it backed in, but most of the time it stops short. But we live in an older neighborhood. Our driveway apron is just a single wide, and I think coming down the street, by the time it sees the driveway, it's almost past it, and it can't make that sharp of a turn.
And
Uh,
he doesn't know how to park in parking spaces at the grocery store yet.
those off road, the highway, it's a little challenging, but it's getting better. Um, but that was
That's not a biggie thing,
no, it's not a big thing at all. I'm trying to think if there's anything else out there.
but those are things that we can handle quite easily. We appreciate the fact that we're so safe on the freeways now. We can park in a grocery store easily.
But
Well, and freeways in California are another challenge, right?
well, yeah. I'm sure we are. We are confusing the uh, the center in Austin. They think, where is this information coming from? I guess that we're prepping for Mars, maybe. But back to the going to football games. Um, when you go into a stadium, the stadium has an address, and whenever I put that in, it always wants to take us in the main entrance, which is the most congested. We like to go through a back one there where we can get handicap parking really close to the stadium, but I can't figure out how to direct it to lot 3 at Anaheim Stadium. It'll go through the main one, or it'll go through the one where if you're a season ticket holder, you go in for preferred parking. But
That's minor.
It is minor, but it's just little things.
It will learn.
And one time we got into a parking lot in a big distribution center, and the car was. I just let it drive. Our standard saying when we do this is, "Okay, let's see what we paid for," and I let the car figure it out. But it could see the road, but there's a small 2-foot high hedge between the parking lot and the road, and it keeps every time there's an indentation, it kept trying to. I can't exit here. I can't. We drove around the parking lot about 3 times before I had to take control and go back where we came from. But
That's a minor thing.
it's minor things, but they're all off highway stuff. And I understand that is something they're working on as we speak. So I'm expecting some big changes in the next few weeks.
Me too, especially because we just got 2 weeks until Austin, right?
Yes.
And there, Elon will roll out the RoboTaxi business. And I'm anxious to see how that will operate. It appears that potentially the unsupervised model might be version 14.
Okay.
So we'll see.
But we're excited about it.
Yep. So Pete, how about you? Anything that you believe that has challenged you while operating FSD?
No, just getting used to it making the decisions most of the time. And like Ed said, the beginning and the end of trips is sometimes a little rough. It wants to go into the wrong entrance to a mall or a shopping center or something, but that's all Ed cases, and it'll get better. Melissa mentioned regressions. Yeah, you occasionally see a regression, but it really is, having been with it for almost a year now, it really is like 3 steps forward and 1 step backwards. And I think our brains adjust to those steps forward very quickly, and we accept it as the way it should be, and it kind of magnifies those negative regressions that we sometimes see. But the path is up and to the right. There's no question about it.
So what would you say, Pete, was the one instance with using FSD that caused you with the most concern?
Really, there've been a few cases where I've taken over. I guess the very first when we first had it, it would sometimes miss major exits. It would tend to hang out in the left lane way too much and sometimes overshoot things. But we're right on the verge of that getting better. They're going to do 3x scaling on the planner. Right now, it's my understanding that the car can plan 5 seconds ahead, and that's going to change to 15 seconds pretty soon. And 15 seconds is probably much more human-like when we're going down the highway. Our brains are automatically thinking a little further ahead than 5 seconds. So I think all of these things are just going to get dramatically better as time goes on.
Melissa, how about you? The highest anxiety you felt?
When the arrow on the navigation says it's going to take the right fork and the car is going to the left, and then I have to make the decision, do I override it? And the first time I was just shocked that this was happening, and I didn't, so I had to go quite a bit out of my way to get back on. And then in subsequent times I have intervened, but it's like, oh my God, is there someone coming up on my right in my blind spot, and just having to make that quick decision. So I just don't understand the disconnect between what the arrow is showing and the direction the car will go in. That's probably happened about 6 times.
Yeah. So what if I put those two together? It's not really safety. It's doing it the way that I would prefer to do it.
No, it's doing something wrong. I mean, if I wanna take exit 3, it should turn right to exit 3, not left to stay on the highway. Yeah. So that does become a safety issue if I have to take over very quickly.
Ed,
We've had 2 incidences. One, but it causes me to be very much more aware. We have one exit that we typically come off of on the freeway, um, and the exit has one right turn and two left turn lanes. We want to go left, so the car gets in the left turn lane, lights, the blinkers on, everything. We go to make the turn, but the street we're turning on is 6 lanes. 2 lanes going one direction, 2 lanes turning left onto the freeway, and then 2 lanes going the way we want to go. And it tends to turn into the center left turn lane opposing traffic. And that's scary when you pull in and there's cars coming straight at you and you're in the wrong lane. So you have to correct. And it's done it a few times. First time was kind of panic. The second time I anticipated it. And the third one, I just kind of put my hand on the wheel and I could feel it starting to turn. And I just edged it on over. And of course I get the little indicator of, what happened. And I'm telling it made a turn into oncoming traffic. Hoping that gets corrected, but it just causes you to be more aware.
And when it does that, then that's added to the database, right?
That's my understanding. So it's done it twice. If it does it again, I'll be but if it doesn't, then I'll feel like we've accomplished something.
Sue, how about you?
My only concern was the first time I was behind it and it was doing the self-driving, I go, is it going to stop? Is it going to stop? Is it going to stop? Is my insurance going to go up? And it stopped like it was supposed to. But every time I'm behind the wheel, I just get more and more confident of it. And I know he's going to do what he's supposed to do. No, I don't like calling it an it, but because they told us to give it a name, we give it a name. And so now I just feel like it's part of the family. That's why I call it he. But so, but
What?
he,
Okay.
I said he, you know, my friends think I'm crazy, but the more I'm behind the wheel, the more I have confidence that it's going to take care of us.
Mhm.
I just have so much confidence in the car, but we've only had it for 2 months. Yeah, the other people here, they've had it much longer, but my confidence just keeps growing and growing and growing after the first. The car did stop behind the car. I go, yes.
I saw you begin to respond. You had an idea.
Just saying that I still submit a lot of bug reports, and it occurred to me the other day, I am submitting fewer bug reports than I was before.
Huh. Good. Well, as a boomer, how do you feel about the learning curve of adopting advanced technologies in your Tesla EV? And what advice would you give to peers who might be hesitant to try it? And Pete, let's start with you.
Well, I think that a lot of older people do have a learning curve, and they're uncomfortable with it at first. But uh, it just doesn't take long. You just have to try it, and it it's quite intuitive. It does very logical things, and it really doesn't take that long. But it's hard to get people to try new things. There's only a certain percentage of the population that are like most of us early adopters who were just love trying new things. We have to recognize that other seniors, other boomers don't see it that way. And you just have to give them time, just have to give them the opportunity. But as it gets better and as their driving skills erode more, it's going to be incredibly important because, you know, the day's going to come where it's going to extend your driving life expectancy, as I like to say.
So most most boomers have cell phones, have smartphones. And to what extent is the knowledge of how to operate your smartphone similar to operating a Tesla? And Pete, just continue.
Well, it's extremely similar. You do a lot of stuff with your phone. Your phone is your key. Your phone lets you turn the climate on before you ever get to the car and warm it up or cool it down. Your phone lets you send where you're headed to the location to the car before you ever get into it. So um, it's extremely useful from the app. But then when you get in the car, you've got that great big screen, which is really, once you get used to it, nothing more than a big cell phone there.
Right. Melissa.
I think about the learning curve and how, for me, I still like to have a person coach me through it, and my brother has had a Tesla since 2018, so he was very instrumental in getting me comfortable, with the car as well as with a bunch of accessories, and, I know you can watch videos and that style appeals to a lot of people, and the AI grok is coming, and that appeals to some, but, I think having, a human coach for people, who are considering a Tesla it could be helpful in appealing more to our demographic, and much like with the cell phone, I mean, I a lot of times I look stuff up on Google, "How do I do this on my iPhone?" But generally, if I can get, one of my kids or a former student to show me, it takes less time, and I feel more confident, and pretty soon I'm better than them.
Cool. Sue, how about you?
I think that Melissa and Pete really summed up our thinking on it. I mean, it's very they summed it up beautifully, and that's exactly what I would have said, both of them. They concur I concur with them exactly, that's what I would have said. I mean, I don't think I need to read it, but I think they summed it up beautifully.
Ed?
Uh, I think if you're the first time you use full self-driving, well, first time for us was our first time driving a Tesla. So we never actually did any manual driving, and it was much like getting launched off an aircraft carrier. You push a button and you're gone. It is.
Exactly.
But I had we had somebody with us who knew that, and he laughed about it. But that initially, it's a very steep learning curve for the first few seconds, and after that, it's not hard. You just learn to expect it, and it's just be patient. But I think anybody who really is thinking about getting a full self-driving is take test drives. Just take test drives. They're they're free, they're easy, and but as Melissa said, I think there could be a little more coaching. They tend to just give you, "Here's your car, go enjoy it, bring it back in an hour." And, I think sometimes a little introduction would be reassuring.
And I'd just like to add on to that, the first time it accelerated from 0 to 45 on the main road where I live, it was like, "Oh my god, am I on a what kind of a roller coaster am I on?" And it just felt really disorienting. Now, it's like I get to 45 and it's like, "Is this all there is?" So
Yeah. Let's go, let's go.
and I find myself, going faster on the freeway, so, yeah, you just get more and more comfortable with it.
The older we get, the more we just want to keep people away from us. And that's the accelerator in an EV can take you out of a iffy situation and you're on your own again, just like that. So, how has owning a Tesla EV and using FSD, how's it influenced your perspective on aging, on your mobility, staying active in your community? And Ed, you start for us, would you please?
Sure. Um, that's a kind of a loaded question, but I would say as we get older, I think we lose some of our skills, but I think our perception is still there. And one thing I have found is life is a journey, and that journey is full of obstacles. I'm learning now that the obstacles are the journey. It's how are you going to handle them? So you anticipate there's going to be things out there that are going to interact with you differently than you expected, and you be prepared for them, and you deal with them. And it's
So like we are we're not slowing down. Today we're just going to put in the address to Kiki's job today. We're still very busy, but we're not afraid to go anywhere because we know we're going to get there safely.
yeah. We just don't get in crisis mode over it. Yeah. Water line breaks, you fix it. The garage door doesn't work, you fix it. Something goes out, you fix it. The car needs some, you fix it. You just let life do what it does
But
and just enjoy it.
we're not staying at home anymore because we know we can get there safely.
Ooh, now that's a great perspective. Wouldn't you say, Melissa?
That and get back safely, because sometimes I would not go to events because of having to drive back at night, and now it's like there's no excuse. If I don't wanna go to an event, I have to come up with a different reason.
Come up with a different excuse. You got to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pete, how about you?
Yeah, it's they summed it up beautifully. You find yourself doing things that you might have avoided a year ago, and you didn't even know you were avoiding them a year ago. And you kind of realize that as time goes on. You get in that driver's seat, and once you're used to it, it really is driving the way we drove 30 years ago. We don't want to admit we've slowed down a little, that we're not the same driver we were. We don't park as squarely, et cetera, everything. And once you get used to it, it's just like rolling the clock back 30 years.
Well, Pete, you mentioned the parking, and I always use the auto park feature now. I really like that. But also, as we're talking about safety, one of the issues that I have is when I go to visit my daughter, she still has an old car, not a Tesla. And I found myself really missing my Tesla and being concerned about how safe I am on the road, and really almost avoid highways where she lives, just because I know I'm not in great practice doing highways on my own. I really depend on the FSD. So that is one risk factor that I'm conscious of.
Well, looking ahead, we are anxious to see the extent to which FSD is going to operate in a RoboTaxi environment in Austin. So, what future advancements in FSD are you most excited about, and how do you envision them enhancing your ability to drive well and get to places while as you age? Ed.
There's a lot of things. Driving on a highway that seems to be pretty much under control. It's dropping off and picking up from congested parking lots. Um, it I don't use full self-driving in parking lots because I I know that the car just doesn't understand a crowded parking lot. So I'm waiting for that one. I'm looking forward to using the summon and eventually the abandoned features, but I they they're not working here yet. So, but yeah, I'm looking for the full self-driving highway experience to transfer to parking lots and pulling into people's driveways and things. So it's that's the next step that I'm excited to see.
Good. Sue, how about you?
I want to be surprised. I've been surprised so far. I like what they're doing. Just surprise me. I'm very happy with what they've done. I've been happy with the last 2 months. I'm gonna let them have my dog drive the car. Just surprised me. Happy so far.
Melissa, how about you?
I would like to see the range of emergency situations it can handle expand. So one Sunday morning, I was driving and hit a very dense patch of fog, and I got the alert that said take over immediately. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm depending on the car to navigate here, and now you're asking me to do it. So I hope it's going to be able to handle bad weather situations better than just telling me to take over.
In another interview, I had a great conversation with Kelly Sloan, who's up in Michigan, and she recounted being on a trip on I-80 going through Nebraska and over to Utah, and it started snowing. And she related that she could not see out the windshield, but on the screen, FSD could look beyond that, and it got them through that heavy snow. So this is something up in Buffalo, which you're looking forward to.
Yeah, I actually found that it performed way better in the snow than I expected it to. It's not perfect, but I didn't think it would be useful in the winter at all. I thought I was buying this mostly for the summer, and I find that I use it in the winter a lot. The computer can tell where those lanes in the highway are.
The Californians are laughing. Snow,
Yeah.
what's that?
At 65 degrees, we put jackets on.
Yeah.
So as you're looking forward, any final comments that you would like to deliver to boomers who are still reluctant to put their butts in the seats?
Yeah, some of them are terrified of it. We have friends who won't even sit in our car. They don't want to touch it. It's just like evil.
Yes. Well, even I have a son who says, "No, don't put our grandkids in there. Don't put you can't have our grandkids in there." And we're just trying to explain to him, "No, it's safer than us." You know, this is crazy. We don't understand the mentality of it. I mean, we just think this is far safer than anything else. And I think for the boomers, this is the way to go. It is just far better. You don't have to rely on dealerships. This is much more cost effective for your money. This is safer. This is better. It's better for the boomers. This gives you more independence. This expands your horizons. You're not reliant on anybody. You're not reliant on your kids. This just gives you so much more freedom. This is opens up your world. We just boomers do it, and yeah.
And I think we're the perfect generation to do that.
First couple of times that I drove a passenger and put on FSD, I was feeling a little bit nervous, but that only happened maybe the first 2 or 3 times. Now I am actually feeling much safer with a passenger in my car, knowing that I'm on FSD.
But it's normal when you do something new. It's normal to have butterflies in your stomach. When you learn something new, it's normal. You know, just when you do something uncomfortable, you grow. And it's better, at our age to keep growing and keep learning. And that's what we should be doing. And we keep living. And this is something that is very good for us at our age because we still have got at least another 20 years. You know, we have, we have a lot more to do, and we have a lot more to contribute. And we need to be out there doing it. It's like we're volunteering, and this helps with our volunteering effort. This keeps our world growing and making the world better, and we need to be out there doing that. And this enables us to do that, to make the world better because they need us out there.
Oh boy, do they.
Totally.
Well said.
Yeah, I think boomers will eventually adopt it. Uh, Look back at the Facebook model. How did Facebook become popular? Grandma started using Facebook when other grandmas started using Facebook and telling them how great it was, and now it's probably more popular with seniors than it is with the young people. I like to say Facebook taught seniors how to use a smartphone, and other boomers, once they meet 2 or 3 other boomers that are using FSD and loving it, they'll try it. It'll happen. It's just up to us to encourage them.
There is a massive movement that's beginning. And again, we're going to see this in Austin. And that is this autonomous driving, and then the whole business of helping people transport them safely all over the world. And Elon Musk believes that this is a massive market. So now this is not financial advice, but if any of you have a Roth IRA that you're depending on in the future, put some Tesla stock in that Roth IRA, because any appreciation will be tax-free for the rest of your existence. So, thanks for riding with us today on Tesla Boomers. For more tips on Tesla's life-enhancing technologies, follow us here for new episodes each week. Ed and Sue, Melissa and Pete, thanks for being here today. Sure. Now, if you're a boomer or you're sitting in for your boomer parents, you won't want to miss any of my future podcasts, so make sure you give us a like below and subscribe. And remember, demo drive a Tesla and don't let the old man in.
There you go. Yes.
Hey, guys, this has been great.
Cool.
Thank you again. We've enjoyed it.
A lot of fun.